right, folks, I'm behind the world's slowest Tesla. Anyway, it is a Thursday morning and the weather is absolutely beautiful just south of Atlanta. I'm actually in the town of Sonoya right now. So I thought I would get out and do a quick ride. It's been, I don't know, probably a month since I've been on the bike. And we are getting ready to ride our version of the Chattahoochee BDRX starting April 15th. So I need to get some seat time back on my butt. So this is the town of Sonoya. And once again, for all you Walking Dead fans, this is where a lot of it was filmed. And in fact, right there is Nick and Norm's. It's Norm and Ritas, and the producer Greg Nicotero, I guess is how you pronounce it. They're actually the owners of that place. Been there for a while, pretty good food. So even though it's a beautiful day, I sort of screwed up in my planning, or should I say lack of planning, because it was nice and comfortable getting the bike, you know, ready to go, check the air pressure, had to mount my bag on the back and get dressed, push it out of the garage, and everything was fine. So I just threw on a jacket, and I'm feeling good on the jacket, and I got my heavier duty gloves on, but I got lazy and I'm just wearing a pair of jeans. So I forgot to factor in a scientific phenomenon called wind chill factor. So the top of my legs are a little bit chilly, or should I say they were chilly. They're sort of numb now. So beautiful countryside, and once again, this is a route that I planned using my Ride with GPS app. I love that app, and it's basically what I plan all my rides out on, because I pretty much know for sure what's dirt and what's not. It's almost always spot on. So this is a nice country road that I would have never known if I hadn't plotted that route out with this app. But anyway, let's get to the Chattahoochee BDRX. We are going to meet in Clayton, Georgia on April 14th. And it's going to be myself, Hank, Dallas, and Greg riding this time. And we're going to meet at Clayton, park our vehicles at a friend of mine's house, actually in Lake Lawn, Georgia. We're going to spend the first night in Clayton and then start the BDRX from Drew's place in Clayton on April 15th. Now I've got two possible routes. One route is a route that we've already done, which is a little bit different than the main BDRX, and the second route is even more different than the BDRX. So we're going to decide which way we're going to go to start day one. Right now we do have two routes, and the first day is going to go from Clayton, Georgia, all the way to a Verbo that we've got in East LJ. It is definitely our longest day, but I think it's the most road time as far as pavement. So that route will be about a 150-mile day, give or take, with either route that we take as far as our first day options. So it's going to be a long day on the first day, but like I said, that is the most pavement riding that we'll be doing on the entire ride. For the second day, we're changing it up from what we did last time. Technically, the official BDR route goes from LJ to Suches. Well, it's only about a 90-mile day doing that route, but there's a ton of dirt, so it is actually a long day of riding. But what we're going to do is, I've got a route that's a little modified to get a little more dirt just east of LJ. We're going to ride past Suches, go back across Cooper Creek and all of that WMA, and we are going to end up in Helen, Georgia, to spend the night at a hotel in Helen, which makes that day, I want to say about a 130-mile day, but I'm wanting to say about 80 miles of it or plus, or 90 miles of it are dirt roads. So that is going to be our longest day and our most technical day, as that also includes the infamous Bucktown Road and Old Nimblewheel Gap Road. So that will be our most technical day, but we're switching that up, and we've got a hotel that we're going to stay at in Helen. We figure that's nice because you got good food options and everything else. So that's going to be day number 2. Now, day number 3 is going to be another abbreviated route of the BDRX. We've done part of it before. We're going to leave Helen, make our way back up, and go across Charlie's Creek and to Tallulah on the way back instead of on the first day, if that makes sense. And that will bring us out in Dillard. In Dillard, we're going to catch the easternmost loop of the BDRX, and we'll go by Watson Mill Waterfall, Mud Creek Waterfall over in Sun Valley, Georgia. And they're just a little bit off of the main BDR route. So we're going to take that. It's a very scenic route. Now, the easternmost loop of the BDRX that loops from Dillard back to Clayton, we didn't ride that last time. So that is going to be all brand new trails for us. And when we get back to Clayton, instead of heading back to Drew's, we're going to go south a little bit on pavement and then come up probably the last 15-20 miles on part of the Georgia Adventure Trail, which Hank and I rode that the last time, and it's a really nice little section along Lake Seed, Lake Raven. Really nice ride. And then we'll end back up where we parked the trucks, because Drew literally lives about a half a mile away from the Georgia Adventure Trail at that point. So that's the game plan on the ride. I think that day is also about 130 miles, somewhere in that range. So we're looking forward to that. God bless America. Beautiful horse farm, pretty horses. Nice country living. Even though I've lived up in Georgia for 14 years, I'm still not used to this kind of scenery after living my entire life basically in Miami. Every day I wake up, and whether it's on 2 wheels or in the vehicle or we're out on a side-by-side somewhere, this is always a treat to me. I know a lot of people that have lived up here all their lives, it's like, just a country road. Old pecan farm. Maybe not that old, but the trees are a little bit older. A little bit of gravel, but not bad. So the only thing I'm really going to do for this next ride is we all finally have cardos now. But I've never rode with anybody yet to pair my cardo up with another rider. So that is going to be new for us. So at least it'll make the ride a little bit safer and we can chat. Now the thing that I'm working on is setting my helmet up where I can record the other half of the conversation from the other 3 guys. I think I need to get an accentuator cord still, but I might have one with all the AV stuff I've got. I've got to look for it and try to figure out how. I've been watching some videos and stuff on setting the helmets up, but that's what I told the guys. I think it'll make the ride a little bit more interesting recording. Of course, it's probably going to require some heavy editing with some of the stupidness that we always talk about while we're together. So now we can talk about it while we're riding. It's probably going to make it even worse. Once again, just nice rural county country roads. Out in the middle of nowhere, basically. An old house used to be there at some point. And that's the one thing that amazes me about Georgia. Every time I travel, whether it's in a car, pulling a camper or whatever, we always take the back roads because that's how you see America. And try to stay off the interstates as much as possible. But the one thing I'll say about Georgia, I've never seen a state that has so many old abandoned homesteads and houses and schools. And you know, someone has to be paying taxes on the property. I just don't get it. I mean, like this place here. Go ahead and stop for a second. At one time was probably a really cool old house. That's a tin roof on it, brick chimney. It's open. I'm not going inside because it's starting to get warm and it's about time for the creepy critters to start coming back out. Alright, this looks like as good as place. I need to take a quick butt break, check my straps, make sure nothing's hanging. I got my drone in here. Hopefully I'm not crushing it. I was following the car and getting Sahara dust stormed out, but KLR is running good. I thought I might have to stop and take some air out of the tires, but so far it's been pretty good. It's not been super rocky. I just washed the bike yesterday, so I'm sure be having to wash it again when I get home, but so far everything's working as it should. And like I said, these are just nice little country roads out here. And I think I know where I'm at. I think this is actually, this is Line Creek right here, which was in one of my last videos. So when I rode this way, it took me down to the Red Oak Creek Bridge, but I've got something not in this system right. I don't know. Anyway, a ride's a ride, so what's an adventure without a ride? But so this is Line Creek, and I mentioned on a previous video, if you're into craft beer, we have a small brewing company called Line Creek Brewing that's in Peachtree City, Georgia, and their beer is actually pretty good. And this is what they're named after. Huh. All right, now that I've totally screwed up this ride, if you want to call it screwed up, I just didn't go to where I was aiming to go. And from what I remember, this is going to be the road that has a little bit of rock on it. So with my tires pumped up, this could be interesting. Windy and a little chilly. What's up, cows? And a little rocky. Oh boy, coming up to the dreaded traffic circle. This is a pretty new phenomenon in Georgia, even though it's been in Europe for God knows how many years, probably hundreds of years. One of these days I want to sit here and just film, and then I want to sell it to the Georgia Department of Public Transportation, because if you want to confuse people in Georgia, throw a roundabout in their driving route. Because the way they normally do it is if there's 4 or 5 cars coming, instead of taking turns for the other 1 or 2, that entire train dumps into that traffic circle and they don't yield like they're supposed to. And that's the whole thing. You want to keep the traffic flowing. But always thought four-way stops were confusing for them up here, but these roundabouts, it's taking it to a whole new level. When you enter them, you're really going to watch it, regardless if you're in a car, motorcycle, or whatever. Well, the route I took didn't take me where I wanted to. I was going to throw the drone up here at the house. I'm like, I can just throw it up past the trees, but as you can see, it's so windy out right now, and I'd have to put it up so high that I'll mess with that another day. Anyway, turned out to be a good ride. Bike ran good, had the tires pumped up, never let them down, and rode fine. So a couple of hours of seat time in, just getting ready for the BDRX.